Plague Doctor earrings. Once it focuses.
I love
Why? Because we both feel like death today.
Wow. Yeah, felt.
We survived Eric Nam last night, and it was amazing, but we went way all out, and so that's why we're raspy and husky today.
We are super husky.
And
what up?
Feeling dead.
We are.
The vibe for 2022, right?
Only for March.
Only for March.
Only for March. Fair, right?
Yeah, very fair. This is our boot camp.
It is our boot camp, as we've stated a few times now. So, hey guys.
Hi.
Let's
Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel.
Cheers.
How cute is this twice mug, by the way? Look at that galaxy. She's a cute. Actually, show yours.
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't see from this side, so I thought it wasn't shown.
Sums me up quite well, I think.
If the shoe fits.
If the shoe fits. So, guys, we're here. I think we have quite a fun one today.
Yes.
We started a series. I hope it turns into more of a series.
Me too.
This one will definitely be a two-parter based on the questions we received.
Yes.
We had to half it. We got a lot of great questions in. So
which we're very appreciative.
Yes.
Thank you for the engagement, you guys. This was from our Instagram, our Starland Instagram account.
Yes. So,
what was the question?
So we asked basically if there was just anything you guys wanted to be recommended by us, or if you had any info that you were wanting to know. So we did get some information requests. We got some music recommendation requests. So we got a little bit of everything. And this will be part one. We'll have a part two come out probably a little later down the line, which is going to be the second half of those questions. We will definitely go ahead and offer up another question round a little bit later.
Yes.
Maybe also open that up to a Twitter AMA to get some Twitter responses as well.
Yes.
So please follow us on our social medias, and those are always linked as we do our little tags slide-ins. So please feel free to follow us there.
Subtle plugs.
Very subtle, especially for this video in particular. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get right into it, because we got quite a bit of...
there's a lot of recommendations we're chugging through today, and I love discussing music taste. Honestly, if I could ever ask an idol something directly, I always am telling Ashley my first question would probably, or one of my top questions would be like, give me 5 tracks or 5 artists that you want me to check out, or that you think I should listen to know more about you and your musical perspective and appreciation. So,
or your background, or however.
What do you gravitate to? I love hearing about those things from other people. I think it just adds so much pizzazz to your understanding of knowing other people, because we use music as a medium for understanding. So,
absolutely agree. And I think this one's going to be... I know I had a lot of fun reviewing the questions, and especially the ones we picked out for today's video. There's a lot of really good, I think, a variation.
I do too. It's not just so one-dimensional with the request. And so we actually... It wasn't a bad discussion, but we definitely discussed what to pick in order to help give it as well-rounded of a discussion as possible. But luckily it wasn't even too difficult to choose, because they were pretty good questions. I think we only debated on 2 of them, for which we wanted to include in this one, and which is going on the next one. So
yep, exactly. So the first question was actually more of an information request, and that is to learn a little bit more about Max Changmin. And he's our little buddy from TVXQ/DVSK. I think a lot of people who've been around the Korean music scene are familiar with him. You know, TVXQ, I've known them as DVSK since that's kind of what I grew up with, knowing them as. But they were once a group containing 5 members, and they were under SM.
Oh, okay.
And now they are a duo with previous member, obviously Max, and and they originally debuted in 2003.
That was going to be my next question. I had a feeling they were first gen, but I wanted to make sure, because sometimes the gen lines can really confuse me, especially as someone who's newer coming into it.
The generation marker lines are kind of a little fuzzy depending on who you talk to. It's kind of up for debate on where they start and end. For me, I personally classify them as first gen, but others would argue with me on that and say they're considered second gen. So just say they're very early on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Early 2000s. I mean, 2003 is when they came out. That's factual. So
yeah, so
that long ago.
And Max was actually the Maknae, and he's the main vocalist of the group. So
we love that.
They actually kind of were a pretty big. I hate to say like spectacle or caused a big riot, but it was pretty big news when the group essentially fell apart and disbanded. Oh, wow. So obviously Yuno and Max stayed with SM and stayed together as the duo that is still known as TVXQ today. But the 3 other members ended up leaving after they essentially kind of went into a legal battle with SM. And that was in 2010. And the group essentially dissolved. And
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I know legal battles happen, and it is what it is. But there's something kind of sad about that when it's more you couldn't make it work out for the art. It is what it is. It's going to happen. And from what business takes place like that,
right? And from what I understand, it wasn't there wasn't any kind of.
Oh, it was amicable.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Within the members. It wasn't.
Gotcha.
It wasn't from what I understand, the members didn't have any bad blood. They're still okay.
You know what? Good for them.
Yeah.
They were wanting something different with their contract. They had to negotiate it. It didn't go the way they wanted, so they dissolved the contract. Good for them. I mean, it is what it is. It's life.
It was more of a peaceful ending.
Gotcha.
Let's put it that way.
Definitely, it wasn't a blow up the way that some things
can be,
have been, and can be. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So Max then went ahead and made his Korean solo debut, because he did release a Japanese solo album prior to his Korean solo debut. So he did go ahead and make that debut in Korea with Chocolate. Oh. I'm sure that you've heard of that.
I have heard that.
Before.
I didn't realize that was his Korean debut.
Yeah, and
solo debut.
It's solo debut of April of 2020. So pretty recent.
And what a time to do that. Bless him.
Right. And
bless
that was
him, honestly.
When he returned from military enlistment. So yeah, so
timing was very interesting for him. Okay.
And so he did some acting projects, and he obviously became, I think, more of a popular face for those who maybe weren't aware of his music background.
Like me?
When he became the MC of Mnet's Kingdom.
I do remember you explaining
yes
who he was to me when we were watching Kingdom. But definitely cracks me up, everyone yelling Changmin over and over out loud.
Yeah.
That was good.
And that's why I think it was so endearing, at least for me. And I think that was kind of where our experience split happened. Yeah. Not obviously in a negative way. But just, what it is. It just showed, and that's kind of why I was giggling so much while we watched, because we did watch Kingdom together as it aired on Weki. And we would she'd come over every Saturday and we'd watch it together and scream at the it was great.
If only we were recording when that happened. Actually, it was
a lot.
If you watch Kingdom, you already know. You know. I don't have
if you
to
know,
explain
you know.
It to you.
We know, Lino. But yeah, so when everyone was really kind of giggling, excited to meet Max. And I know people probably didn't understand that if they weren't familiar with who Max was before Kingdom. But obviously he's a musical kind of legend. Yeah. In their industry. So for me, it was just kind of like, oh, that's really cute. That's really sweet. Because it's like, oh, someday, you know.
He was the Maknae of the group whenever you got to know him.
Right.
Versus me getting to know him, I'm like, oh, he's all their Sunbang. Like,
he's up there. He's a legend. He's a legacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's like someone down the line getting really excited to meet someone like Jungkook or...
Oh, yeah. And that
happens now.
I was going to say, that evolution for me has also been crazy. Yeah. But exactly. It's the exact same thing. Or like now for you, Stray Kids.
Yes, true. Yeah. With
you getting to see that with Stray Kids. Yeah. It's going to be something similar. So... and I guess the final note on to kind of generally get to know Changmin, he married his current wife, in October of 2020. They were, I think, originally supposed to get married a little earlier, but of course the pandemic pushed things back.
Understandably.
But yeah, he's happily married, and yeah, he's just living his best life. He's got, obviously he released another solo album, Devil.
Yep.
He did release that not too long ago. So
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, he's living his best life. One of our friends reliably told us that his album, the physical album, is beautiful. She said it's made like a velvet. Ooh. That actual album. So it's very luxurious, very nice. So yeah, that's a little bit to know about Max. I hope that kind of got you a little bit of surface level info for him. Definitely do more deep diving on him if you're interested. His music seems to resonate with a lot of people. Yeah. Personally, for me, I'll go out and say, as we're 100% honest on this channel, his music doesn't resonate with me 100% of the time. It's very hit or miss for me, but man has pipes, y'all. Like, he can sing. There's no denying that. Yeah. He has amazing vocal ability. So definitely give his work a chance if that's something that you're interested in.
Is it more ballads that you would say, or would you, if you had to classify it in a couple words, what would you say is more of like his style?
I would say he's kind of hard to define as a genre.
Interesting.
He almost has almost a gospel-y feel to his music.
Because I've heard more slower songs from him.
Yes.
Which is why I'm asking.
Yes, he does. I think he does ballads very well. Because like I said, his vocals are on point. But he does, I would say, he plays around. He does some experimental stuff. Okay. He does some more upbeat tracks. It's just, I'm very particular with my kind of music. In the sense that I've had time to kind of curate what I like and what I don't like. Totally. It's just, also for me, my brain's a little particular. For those of y'all who don't know, I have chronic migraines. So certain noises just hit my ear wrong, and they kind of send the wrong kind of shockwaves in my head.
Right, we've talked about that before for music that you've listened to once that you know you like, but repeat listens very low on the to-do list. Yes. Because it hurts.
Yes, I mean, another one is Side Effects by Stray Kids. Like, it's everyone's, a lot of people I know favorite song.
A banger. Yeah. And a half.
And I enjoy listening to it every now and then, but I just...
No, I understand.
The musicality actually physically hurts me to listen to.
Yeah, it definitely can be intense, and like you said, you do have a neurological... Yeah. Impact with that. So,
but yeah, I definitely, like I said, give Max a try, give him a listen. You know, Devil, I think, was a really interesting album. Like I said, he plays around with a lot. I think, especially for us Texans, it's kind of almost like a Southern gospel vibe that he's giving us.
Very interesting.
He's very cool. He's very cool. I would give him a shot. Okay. But yeah, I hope that entices y'all to try Max out if you're not used to him. So the next question is kind of recommending some
kind of more chill, rhythmic, kind of like R&B, but also so kind of hip hop influence.
Yeah, and so urban finds was the word used, but obviously technically that wouldn't apply here. We're just going to say this as like a disclaimer, since the pure definition of urban was made back in the mid-70s, right. Which was discussing black music. So obviously that doesn't apply here technically, right? But the vibe that was being requested was R&B, some like chill kind of hip-hop kind of vibe. So
real easy to listen to, and you find yourself nodding along to it, and then the lyrics especially, for me, I think also the lyrics have to be pretty good, pretty beefy there to work with.
Yeah. And so for me...
They got something to say. And they say it real...
slow and chill, but there's like a good, like 808 to it.
Yeah,
there's
I feel like you're riding a wave with it.
Exactly. There's just a really good vibe there.
Exactly.
So I definitely have a list of recs. I know Libby has a few she wants to throw out.
Yes. I will go into that. I'll let you go first because you have more recs.
Okay. Cool. So what we're going to do is just going to like pop them over. so that you guys have a little track list going. So it's easy for, in case y'all are like, what the hell did they just say?
We took notes for you guys.
We'll have it for you.
You're welcome.
So mine are, and I'm just going to kind of go down with the artist and the track list. So Nothing and No One by addnine and nathania. As If Nothing Had Happened by seizetheday. Faded by Jane B. Body by Jane B. I love Jane B if you can't tell. Save Me by Jero and Jamie. Sugar by J.cob. And Oceanfromtheblue, another amazing artist. Understand by MELOH. And Therapy by Sophiya. I will never shut up about Therapy by Sophiya. I will never shut up. Okay, that's my rec list for this category.
TED Talk for today.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I just have 2 for this. I tried picking songs that I don't recommend to people all the time. One is newer, one is older, I should say. It's not old. It's an older song, and it has a lot of, attention already to it, but it doesn't matter because I really love that song. I don't care. First one to recommend that's newer is Up All Night by LUMINOUS, specifically Stephen Kim's.
Shout out Stephen Kim.
Solo. I really love that song. That song has been
It's great.
On my playlist on repeat quite a bit. And then You and I by Crush. My favorite Crush song. There's a lot of great Crush songs. Crush is known very well for a reason, but those
Talented.
are my recs. Yes.
Talented man. And then, so this next one, we kind of had quite a bit.
We had quite a bit, and we also kind of went back and forth on it because, and I think this is what's really interesting about these kind of recs and these kind of questions being open-ended. People have different definitions for especially seasonal tracks.
Right. Very true.
So the next rec was great B-sides with summer or cruising vibes. And we have similar viewpoints for what summer means, but we also had differing opinions for what summer means.
Yes. So for summer cruising, I kind of took it as like what you would do, what you'd put on a playlist in the summer, like for a road trip.
Yes.
Right? Like you're road tripping with your friends. This is what I'm going to put on whenever, we've got the windows rolled down. We're just kind of scream singing at the top of our lungs to really...
You feel young again.
Right. Exactly. So, do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
You can go first again. We can
great.
Alternate. Why not, right?
So, mine, again, just gonna go down here. We've got Blue Orangeade by T, Surf by ITZY, Sweet Dreams by Weki Meki, Get Cool by Stray Kids, Alcohol Free by Twice. This is technically a B-side, y'all, because even though they released it as a single, it was a B-side on Scientist. So, that's my
That's my loophole.
justification. Then we have Three Dope Boys by Dynamicduo featuring Zion.T. Stray Kids. We have Surfin by Stray Kids. Fireworks by ASTRO. Dolphin by Oh My Girl. Like, you cannot have a summer playlist without Dolphin on it.
I mean,
you can't. It's not possible. Up and Down by EXID. If I by RAVI featuring Big Naughty. Chicken Noodle Soup by J.Hope featuring Becky G. And Dum Dee by G.I.O. And of course, that also counts because it's a single release. You can't bar me from single releases. That doesn't count.
Yep.
Okay. Same thing with Chicken Noodle Soup.
There we go. We stated the rules.
I digress.
I have Insomnia by Stray Kids. One of my top tracks for them, and so good. I Know I Love You by T. Swimming Pool by 17.
Yes.
Low Low by 10 with Yang Yang.
So good.
Yes, I love it. Love Me Harder by Woods and Page by Got7.
Fantastic.
I can tell you, most of those songs, with the exception of Low Low, I was playing them in a national park in summer of 2021. So those were legitimately on my summer playlist.
Summer road trip playlist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Including We Lost the Summer by T.
Yes.
But...
Honorable mention.
yeah.
But it's...
title track.
Well, no.
Right? No,
well,
it wasn't?
No, but I go mention it. Just mention it.
I mean, it already was.
It's
mentioned.
out there.
There you go.
It's out
Add
there.
that. You're welcome.
Boom. So the next question was underrated songs for first and second gen specifically. So I just kind of, again,
definitely took the lead on that one.
Yeah.
There's only so much I can recommend, and none of them are going to be underrated. So
for this, I kind of just went in a general kind of classic K-pop zone for this one. And this one I kind of just went in debut date order.
Okay.
And these are underrated is it's such a hard thing to define for me. I went with songs that I felt needed more praise or more recognition.
Yeah. So underrated to you. I think that's fair.
To me.
Yeah. These are always our opinions. So
right. Take them with a grain of salt.
But you should definitely still check them out.
Right. Agreed. Please. Especially some of these groups. Some of them are still active and going strong. And I also say groups. There are a few soloists in here because I couldn't resist myself. And I just really love some of them. They're just so good. So the first one debuted in 1998. 4 Men. They are an R&B group.
Nice.
Kind of remind me of BTOB vibe. Kind
love
of
them.
Powerhouse vocals. So this off of their first album released in 98. 4 Men first album, very original name, we love it, is Return. Proper spelling will be available on the track list. FNKL, which, as we know, is a girl group who also debuted in 98. This is off of their Fine Killing Liberty album, Blue Rain, also 98. Scent of Love. I love that song. Shinhwa. I love me some Shinhwa. I love them. I love them. I have quite a few of their albums, actually, I think, at this point. Also debuted in 98. This is actually off their second album, which they released in 99, which is T.O.P. And Cycle. I love... This album is just so good. It's almost one of those albums that you feel a little embarrassed when you listen to it now. Because the songs are so reminiscent of the era.
Yeah, they're very dated.
They're very dated. Musically, like, instrumentally. It's just...
I remember that time period.
Yeah.
I can kind of imagine in my head.
Yeah, but I just really... Cycle is just one that I feel is just... It's still such a goodie, you know? An oldie but a goodie. I can't not mention Rain, right? Soloist, of course. He debuted in 98. And this is from his number one. It's, again, spelling will be over here. 2002 is when this album came out. But Can't I is the song that I particularly enjoyed on that one. And I feel is a little underrated. Fly to the Sky. Look. Nobody talks to me enough about Fly to the Sky, and it's a travesty. They're an R&B duo. They do a lot of features with a lot of great vocalists. Look, I love Fly to the Sky. I cannot tell you enough. They debuted in 99. The album in particular, Yellow Butterflies is their 2005 album.
Okay.
Transition. But Yellow Butterfly is fantastic. There's so many great Fly to the Sky albums. I could really go on about Fly to the Sky all day. Fantastic group.
Okay.
Ugh. I love them. Another soloist, we know and love her, Boa. Yes. Debuted in 2000. This is off her first album, and it's called ID Peace Be. Its song is Letting You Go. Would it be me, and would I be discussing first or second gen if I did not mention 7? Hello? You could definitely catch more in our first episode of our 2 Messages from Texas podcast.
Yes.
now available on Spotify and Apple Podcast, I'm sorry.
That's correct. We thought we were just keeping it to YouTube. It's actually way easier to put on those other platforms than we thought it was going to be. So,
sorry, that exclusive, YouTube exclusive thing didn't last very long.
Hey, but now you can follow it and listen to it whenever you're driving and stuff. Yeah. And it doesn't take up as much battery, so you're welcome.
Yeah. So, but yes, you can hear more about me going on about my love of Seven, and particularly these first few albums of his. He debuted in 2003, and Just Listen, also released in 2003. And I just want to be...
I just want to be honest. They don't talk about it enough for her.
I love this song. I love this album. His follow-up album was Must Listen, which we all know I love that album to the end of my life. I will cease because I talked enough about Seven in these albums in the podcast. But please do me a favor and check out just check out Seven, just check out Just Listen and Must Listen. Okay, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Part 2. Girls' Generation debuted in 2007. So this song in particular, I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it, and that's a little bit disheartening for me.
Yeah.
This is off of their second album, O. It was released in 2010. This song is Boys and Girls featuring our favorite He from SHINee.
We love him.
We love him.
So much.
We love SHINee. And also...
Yes, correct. A whole group.
Yeah.
We love SHINee as a whole group. We do really love Key as well.
Yes.
So.
It's just, for me, it's a really fun song. And I think Key brings a really cool element to it. So that's a song. I just don't hear a lot of people talking about it.
Gotcha.
Like, everyone talks about, like, Mr. and, like, you know, G and...
Those are the songs that I've heard.
Run Devil Run and again, and The Boys.
Those are great songs. They're not underrated, though, so I can't recommend them, and that's not what this question is. So.
Exactly. So Boys and Girls is one I highly recommend to check out. And our final group on this question is going to be the Wonder Girls. They also debuted in 2007. And this is going to be off of their album, The Wonder Years, also in 2007. I don't know if I can really classify, I'll be honest, this as an underrated song. Really? I feel like maybe back then it wasn't underrated, but it maybe more is now.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I've heard tons about Wonder Girls. I've never heard of that song, though.
This song is Move. I love Move. I think it's a fantastic song. It's very fun. Well, for me, it's fun. I feel like nobody mentions it. I feel like when you mention, like, big songs from the Wonder Girls, you don't really... This one is one I hear brought up a lot. So, I just wanted to throw it out there and kind of maybe have people consider it again.
That's exactly what this question is for.
Yeah. So that
sounds like you nailed it.
Yeah. This question...
This was a fantastic question. Thank you to whoever sent it in.
Yes.
This one literally was, give us your hoe anthems.
Well, it was, I think, Baby Makers. But we nicely termed it as a hoe anthem.
You know what?
Either way, it's the same premise. There was a few. Libby had a few on this one.
I did have a few on this one.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first since you just talked quite a bit.
Okay, thank you.
First one is one that I recently kind of found, and it's been on repeat for me. Jongin with Inspiration.
Oh, so good. It's such a good song.
That beat, though. And the red album cover.
That was such a heartbreaking one because the teaser was devastating, and that was a music video that never got released. Rest in pieces.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
The next one is from another SHINee member, Taemin. Now, I tried not to pick the ones that are commonly...
All Taemin, all the time.
Well, all commonly talked about. And I also picked one that I really enjoy listening to, but it's not my immediate go-to. I'll be honest, with Taemin, Want and Move, I immediately jump to, I'm sure... Move especially, I know for a fact everyone does that. And it's a...
Or Criminal.
Phenomenal song. Criminal, too. You're right. I chose Idea, though, because it is a little bit less talked about.
I love Idea.
I don't want to call it a wild card, but it's definitely it's not, whenever you hear Tame and Ho Anthem, that's not the one that people talk about as often, but it should be talked about more. It's really good.
I agree.
Are You Riding by Baekhyun? And by Kai. I didn't mean to pick all soloists, but YOLO, whatever. It's cool. They're all sexy songs. And there was more that I was going to pick, but a lot of the ones that I was going to pick, Ashley already picked, so I was like, well, it's already being discussed.
Sorry.
No. Nothing to be sorry about.
And so I tried really hard to, like, not make them obvious. Like, Love Talk by Wavy and things like that. Yeah. So mine are Chancellor's Automatic, particularly the remix.
Yes.
With like BB and Giselle and all of them. That is such a jam. Ashby, I love her.
I actually was going to pick that song.
Were you really?
I really was.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
I've been listening to her more, and I was going to pick that.
I love her. Booty, this song in particular. And then 12, Drip Drip. Fantastic song. Very much a Ho anthem.
If you can't tell by the title.
Another one I was almost going to put, too, was Flowsick featuring Jesse's.
I almost took that one, too.
But it's not on the list, so you can mention it.
We just did.
Okay, there it goes.
We just did.
Honorable mention that turned into be a list, on the list. Kim Woo-sok, Symphony, a banger.
Symphony.
Literally, he emphasizes the sin in Symphony. We love to see it. CIX, Movie Star.
That'll get your hips moving.
That choreo, that song, that beat, those lyrics. Disgusting. CL's Tie a Cherry, such a good song. Such a good song. Wow. Yes, please. And you know what? I technically had this one on my end, but I'm gonna let her say it because I know what it means to her.
What it means to both of us.
It's our song, which is kind of horrific.
Why don't we not just expose only me? This is a joint effort.
I just said it was on my list, technically.
What it means to her? To both of us. Excuse you. And that is Red Lights by Stray Kids.
Red Lights by Stray Kids.
It's our song for a couple reasons.
It makes it sound stupid.
I know, it sounds really bad, but actually it is a very hot song, but it really does emphasize in talking about losing yourself with overwork and losing yourself with kind of your passion and you know, not being able to know how to turn off your brain, which is honestly something that we both really experience, and I'm sure many of you do too. So, yes, while we joke about it being our song, 'cause it's a sexy song, at the same time, though, the bars are the reason why.
Yes. And also, the members in particular
attack both of us.
I may or may not Dolphin screech that. We'll find out. We'll find out what editing Ashley thinks when she gets to this point.
Don't worry, we're about to expose ourselves very soon.
Are we? Oh, yeah, you're right. Spoiler that we're not going to announce. You'll have to wait and see. So
this might be up by then.
I don't know when this is going to go up.
Watch our other videos to see how much we expose ourselves on the daily, if you care about that. You can laugh at me. I laugh at me all the time.
We do it constantly.
Don't be mean, but you can laugh at me.
So this next question.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's kind of like a half and half. Well, let me rephrase. I definitely, personally, I'm not so much a synth fan. Yeah. I do listen to almost every genre. I listen to a lot of different types of music, especially in this particular field.
Yes.
Community. But synth is just not something I gravitate towards, again, because of my brain.
Whereas I listen to EDM to go to sleep sometimes.
Can't do it. Completely. My husband is a little strange like that also. So it doesn't make sense to me. But indie, however, I was very excited. So getting this question about synth or indie.
Yeah, I was about to say we focused more on synths being used with indie artists specifically.
Right. Well, I focus more on indie, just in general.
True.
Just because I also feel like indie artists don't get a lot of highlight.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Or the indie artists that do are becoming less indie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, not that
it's not bad, but they're getting bigger.
Let me rephrase that. Not becoming mainstream doesn't make you less of an indie artist.
Correct.
Let me rephrase. Because I also hate that, like, music superiority.
Yeah.
Of, like...
No music snobs for us.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Not, like, if you're going to enjoy music, enjoy it. Mm-hmm. No matter how big or small you are, if you're talented, you're talented. And that's it. So, I kind of wanted to focus on some artists that maybe were a little less known, or artists that I personally haven't seen a lot of people talking about, and that I personally geek over. I know that Libby had watched me as I was picking out some tracks to emphasize that were some of my to like rec. I was getting really geeked about it. I was just like, oh my god, I love this one, I love this one. So I just wanted to kind of bring that energy here for this one. So I think you want to go first to have...
Sure, I have one because one synth rec that just jumped out to me.
It's a good one. I will say
because
it's a good one.
It is literally, since I've heard it, it's just been something I listen to all the time.
It's really good.
And that is Sunset by K&K. Kaneken.
It's good. And RIP because they've disbanded. Moment of silence.
Check out Sunset.
It's really
good. For
real.
real.
It's really good. And also the music video was dope. Just gotta say that.
It is.
So yeah, on mine, again, focusing more on the indie side. So I've got Cheese. She's fantastic. The songs are That's Okay and Melting. Then I've got Vanilla Acoustic. I've got Just Thinking About You and Spring With You for the songs I've recommended for her. Luli Lee, Into This Moment, and Oasis. Moni, again, is the song I picked for her, or for them, shall I say. The Black Skirts, Wrong Question was one of my favorites of his. Urban Zakapa, If They Come and Tour Ever. Catch Me on the Ground Crying. Okay, great. I Don't Love You, Wish, and Coffee. I really wanted to add a shit ton more. I love them.
She cut herself off.
Ooh,
she really did.
I really did. Libada, oh my god, love her to death. Love her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is such a jam. It gets stuck in my head constantly. And Running Back is fantastic. Frankly, that whole album is amazing. Highly recommend y'all check it out. Libada is amazing. Her voice, haunting. It's so good. I'm done. Thank you. Okay.
We have multiple TED Talks.
I'm sorry, y'all. I get
okay.
So excited about recommendations. And this is why people will usually be like, go to Ashley for those.
There's a reason I call her the K-pop fairy godmother for recommendations.
I'm not that. Please don't. I'm not that.
Debatable.
So, our last two questions are really fun. Really, really fun. Because I'll pop both questions up. We're going to be Chinese groups and Japanese group recommendations.
Which is nice because, like we said, we like Eastern music in general. There's a very heavy focus on Korean music and K-pop. Yes, but we like Eastern music in general and all there within. So this is nice.
Yes, I'm very excited to talk more about Chinese and Japanese music and artists. Because I have so many that I love. Like, deeply, deeply love. So I'm very excited to kind of bring some highlight to those artists in particular. So I'll start with Chinese groups.
Yes.
And I want to go out and say I apologize if I butcher any names. I am horrible at speaking. I'm sure you've already figured that out by now.
She does do better than I do.
And I'm going to do my best to pronounce these appropriately. But I sincerely apologize if I butcher anything. So for Chinese, it's going to, like I said, it's going to be a mix of artists or solo artists and groups, boy groups, girl groups. It's going to be a mishmash genre of everything. So just, I hope some of these artists, same thing with Japanese recs, just kind of speak to you at all.
Yes.
If one works, I'll be very excited. So Fujing, Smoke Everywhere, I recommend. Lexi Liu, Manta, Mulan, and Shadow. Next, I love Next. Dumb Show, Blah Blah, and WYTB, which is What You Talking About. Wonner, I love Wonner. Gamer, Watch Me, Shadow Hand. Although for Wonner, they do have member solos.
Oh, cool. So
I recommend checking them out too for Quinn, Pink Ray, and Dee Dee.
Okay.
All of them have really great solo works, so I highly recommend that. And then Kai Shukun, pardon me. He goes by Kun. I want to specify it's not Wavy's Kun.
Correct.
Not Wavy's Kun.
Different person.
Yeah.
Different individual.
Yes. Young, Wait, and It's You are fantastic. Yisa Yu, Bookmark, Walking by the World. So good. And then SHE, or She, as I refer to them, Too Much.
Yes.
I love. And then Japanese music, we are going to go with my girl, CHANMINA. She's so good, y'all. I love her to death. We actually have a starter pack already up for her on our blog, Starland. So I will link that down below for y'all to easily access that.
And learn more about her.
Learn more about her. I have some kind of recommendations already there for you if you want to get to know more about her. Have like some bop recs, some kind of slow jam recs, like vocals, whatever you're into. I kind of already have that separated. But my particular favorites, I love King, I'm a Pop, and Bijin. Those are my favorites of hers. And then there's Aimer, Standalone, Torches, One and Last, Fakey, my girls.
Another starter pack.
Well,
actually, excuse me, a post on our blog.
They were our Artist of the Month.
There you go.
Artist Highlight post that we did on Fakey, and they are fantastic. My favorites are Sayonara My Ex, Get Stuck in Your Head, I Dare You, I Dare You. Listen to it. Come tell me if I'm wrong. I won't be wrong. Antidote and 4. Little Glee Monster. They're really fun. Echo and Your Name, I recommend for them. Fairies, I love them. Oh my god. Tell Me How You Feel and More Kiss, I recommend. And then Doberman Infinity are really fantastic.
Yeah.
I recommend Zuto, You and I, and then 6. It's like 6, the number, and then you'll see how it's written, but it's like 66.
Sorry. As I did that, I'm so sorry. So for my Japanese song rec, after I accidentally attacked Ashley there.
Okay.
I'm really sorry.
It's okay. I'm so used to it at this point.
I'm still sorry. My Japanese song rec and music rec is one that I have had in my music rotation since I was in middle school. It is from Nujabes. Apologize if I mispronounced that. R.I.P. Phenomenal producer and artist. Lovesick Part 3 with Xing 2. That song is so nostalgic for me, and it is such a good throwback. Love it so much.
Yeah.
So that's my Japanese rec. I'm going to learn more about Chinese and Japanese groups so I can start doing more recommendations. But just to start with no prep, that was one that I knew I could immediately throw out there.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
It's a good one. So I think that wraps up the first part of our Ask IG series.
Correct. You have quite the list to go through. Have fun.
Yeah. I will link all of the, as my shoulder cracks, I will link all of the tracks that we recommended down in the description below, so you'll just have a quick, easy scroll down, and I'll kind of just preface with a title of what each section kind of generally focused on, just to make it easy for everybody. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this one. It was really fun for us, I think, to dig in and really think about what songs we would recommend. I know for me, as a song recommendation giver, I tend to get to know people a little bit more and learn their music taste a little bit before I provide recommendations. I try to be accurate when I provide them, but I hope these were fun. I tried to spice it up and give a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I think it's a well-rounded list. And if there's anything that you can think of in those classifications that you want to recommend to us, please let us know.
Please. And I hope that you guys recommend something I haven't heard of yet, so I can go check them out and expand my already massive library, because I love getting more and learning about new artists and gathering new music. It's like a really, especially for someone like me who, it's rare that I find new groups or new artists I haven't already at least heard a taste from yet.
Right.
I would love to see if you guys have any recommendations for me. That would be really, really cool. So, this is going to be it for part 1.
Yes.
Part
Stay tuned.
2, will come sometime. Hopefully soon. Don't know when, but we have part 2 in the works, and then
time doesn't mean anything anymore.
Keep an eye out on our social media for when we'll do open up for part 3 questions. And let us know if there's any questions that you want us to ask so that we can prepare for part 3 better. If there's anything that you want to see us film, or, it doesn't have to be when we're opening up our social media for questions, y'all. Feel free to shoot us a DM, drop a comment, whatever. We love to hear from y'all. So
truly,
please.
I don't want to be begging for engagement, but it's more, I'm really just interested in what other people want to hear from us, if anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know until you tell me.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And we also just want y'all to know that we are open to, we are open to a dialogue. We're open to conversations. We're not creators that are like, no, we're going to do what we want to do and we don't care what you have to say about it. We want to engage with y'all. We want to chat. We want to have a conversation.
Agreed.
So.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So for this video, that's it.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.